In this video, I'm going to show you the basics of how to use the Roto brush tool. Right now, I have my interface and I'm going to hit new composition from footage. I downloaded some footage from pexels.com and I'm not really sure what the constraints of the footage is that I'm downloading. So I'll just hit new composition from footage and open my file. Once I have imported the footage, you'll see that it is on my composition. It is also in the side here. It's been imported in, and it has also been put down on the timeline. To use the Roto brush, you're not going to work on the composition. You're going to actually work directly on the clip. But before I do anything, my objective here is to mask out the cup here. And then what I want to do is put it on a black and white background. So I'm going to desaturate the color from the original video, and then I'll just have the cup. I'm going to actually make it, I guess, more of a vintage look. So I will go over to my clip here and Control C and Control V will automatically paste it. Because I don't want to do anything with this clip right away, I'm going to lock it to make sure I don't do anything on it, and I'm going to turn the eye off so I don't even see it. Then double clicking on my first top clip, you will see that it opened up the layer. So I'm working directly on the layer. At the top menu, if you just put your cursor across, you'll see that it says the Roto brush tool. If you hold it down, you have your different options. You want to make sure that you see the little man with the little brush. If you do not have your brushes that came up right away, then you go up to the top to Window, Brushes, and this is what defines your brush size. You can use a hard edge brush, 19. I'm just going to set it to about 30 for now. And then go around and just trace the inside. Right now I have part of the cup. I'm just going to make a little swipe here and get the bottom. And then now I'm going to go around the handle. And I want to remove this part in the inside. So hold Alt on your keyboard. And now I have my cup. The other thing to notice is my leaf has not been selected. So now I need to just click around it. And I am not holding Alt. So I'm saying I do want to add this to my composition. Holding Alt removes it from your composition. And sometimes that happens and it doesn't make a selection. So you can try just going across it. And there we go. I'm going to adjust my feather because my edges are quite harsh here. And I'm going to bring that up to about a 20. Before you go and create all the frames for this video, what you have to do is you have to stretch this out on the timeline and let it create frames for the whole video. Right now it was only at 1 second, but I stretched it out to the whole time of the video, which is about 11 seconds here. Then click on the Roto brush tool and refine all the edges. There's 317 frames that it's going across. What you can see happening right now is the computer is trying to generate each frame based on that first original mask from the Roto brush. And because there is movement in the cup, it is not masking everything out properly. So we will have to actually go back and redefine those edges. So right now, you'll see at the bottom here, when you get this Roto brush and refine edge propagation is frozen, unfreeze to update. So if I do want to go and make any adjustments, I have to click back over here and I have to unfreeze it. And then I'm going to turn on my mask. So right now I'm going to put it in mask view. So you can see where the things have to get fixed. So I can go back here and define my edges a little bit nicer. I can also hold Alt now and just go across the top. And you can see that it can get quite complicated and you'll definitely have to adjust your brush sizes and play with them. The more colors that are similar between the foreground and the background, the harder time you're going to have using the Roto brush. Sometimes it's easier to actually mask out using the pen tool, but just for example, this is how you Roto brush it. And if I scrub back, you can see that there's still more issues. So you can go through and just kind of give like quick adjustments. When we have the background, a lot of this will actually fade in okay. It's just right now it's looking pretty ugly because we're masking it out and you're seeing this harsh red line. So I'm just holding Alt right now and I'm just trying to add to that background selection. So whenever you see that the circle is changing to red, that means I'm holding Alt. And just going back up to the top. And then let's say that you're happy with this, you've gone in, you've made all your additional adjustments, you would just freeze frame all of those different frames. So I'm just going to fast forward this to the end. And so here the computer has now mapped out every single frame, and once again it is locked. So if you want to unlock it, you have to go over here. Right now it's toggled down to see all the effects. I'm just going to collapse those. Right now, I can just exit out of that and go back to my composition window. Turning on the eye on the background layer, you can see that at first there's the transparency when the eye is off, and then here is that other background video. The reason why you're seeing that it's blue is that's because that is the stage settings. If I go up to composition settings, you can see that the background color is set to blue. Most of the time it's defaulted to black, so if I wanted to switch it to black, I could hit OK. And there it's just to black. It was just looking at the last settings that I used. So here's my video. Now what I want to do is I want to make this black and white. Or let's say that you wanted to just change the saturation on it and make it a little bit more vintage, a little bit more muted than this. I'm going to actually lock my upper layer now. Which this is the one with transparency. And then I'm going to unlock the bottom layer. What you're going to do now is control click or right click, go over to Effect, Color Correction, and we're going to adjust our hue and saturation. So you'll get this pop up in your effect controls. If you don't see your effect controls, you can always go to Window. And right now, what I want to do is I want to bring down my saturation. So I'll go all the way to the left and you'll see that it is now gone black and white. So if I scrub across my video, this should impact the whole video. So right now I have my coffee cup on the top that has a mask through it, and then the bottom one is black and white. If you just wanted to desaturate it a little bit, you could just bump that up and then it gives more of that vintage vibe. And that's it.